bring Medea Benjamin. Medea is a long-time activist, and we have been very fortunate to meet her on the very first days of our advocacy on the Hill in DC. Medea was gracious enough to include us in her advocacy. She has been very supportive. We're very proud of her. We are very proud to have her. And we would like Medea to speak to us and reflect on the past 1.5 years of advocacy for ceasefire. Why did we fail? And maybe talk about strategies with the new administration and how we should tackle the next year of advocacy. And thank you. Medea, please go ahead.
Well, first, let me say, one, how heartbreaking it is to turn on the news every day and see what's happening in Gaza, and particularly the courage of the healthcare workers in Gaza and those of you in the US and around the world who put your lives at risk to go there. And also to know how heartwarming it was the first day that Doctors Against Genocide appeared in the Congress, and we saw you walking towards us in the atrium of the Hart Building with your white coats. It was like a vision from heaven that there were these people who have so much legitimacy in the eyes of the public, and even in our Congress. Every time you come is so important. I myself started out as a healthcare worker, studying public health and traveling around the world and seeing children dying in my eyes before me from malnutrition, and realizing that something was wrong politically in the world that would allow this to happen. And the politics of attacking children is something that we see just so incredibly clearly when it comes to what Israel is allowed to do. And so for the last 15 months, we've seen the Biden administration, including the Secretary of State, who is supposed to be a diplomat, being not just complicit, but partners with Israel in this genocide. And we've also seen it in Congress as well, in both the Republicans and the Democrats. And we've seen how the three major lobby groups that are so present in Congress and in the White House are making it so difficult for us. And that is the pro-Israel lobby groups like AIPAC, the Christian Zionists, and let's not forget the weapons industry that makes billions of dollars from so much of our tax money going to Israel. AIPAC this year has taken out two of the best politicians we had, Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman, and instilled fear in the rest of the people in Congress to speak out. And we also see how this next Congress is going to be even worse, controlled both houses by the Republicans, and how they are just ready to pass some horrific legislation that ranges from making it permanent that the US cannot fund UNRWA, attacking the international institutions like the International Criminal Court for putting out arrest warrants of Netanyahu, so sanctioning the ICC, sanctioning South Africa for having the nerve to bring its genocide case to the International Court of Justice, and then going again after those of us here in the United States who have been speaking out. And that ranges from legislation to equate critique of Israel and Zionism with anti-Semitism. And this is particularly aimed at the students, to take away federal funding from universities that don't crack down on students. And also then legislation aimed at non-governmental organizations that have been speaking out, giving the Treasury Department the ability to say that they are supporting terrorism and then close them down. So we are facing something even more difficult in this next administration. And let's remember that Trump, when he was in the presidency, he supported the West Bank settlements. He moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. He started the Abraham Accords to entice the Arab states to have normal relations with Israel, and throwing the Palestinians under the bus. And he has told Netanyahu that he should, quote, finish the job. And some of his appointees are just disastrous, like the appointee for U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, who says there's no such thing as a Palestinian, or his appointee, Elise Stefanik, for the U.S. The United Nations ambassador, who is the one who actually went on the attack against students and the universities when she was a member of Congress, and is calling for deporting students on foreign students with visas who are supporting Palestine. On the other hand, there are some countervailing forces that are important to recognize and to give us some hope. One is the international community. We just heard from a wonderful representative from South Africa. There are now 15 other countries that are supporting South Africa's suit at the International Court of Justice. And we see more countries that are holding Israel accountable in other ways, such as putting a weapons embargo on weapons to Israel. We also see that in our own country, that when there was a vote, thanks to Senator Sanders in the Senate, 40% of the Democratic senators did vote for limiting weapons going to Israel. With the Republican in the White House, there will definitely be more Democrats who are willing to speak out. And we should remember that there are Trump supporters who don't want the U.S. involved in endless wars. And Trump himself said on the campaign trail that the U.S. should not be involved in endless wars. And then the most important thing, I think, is to say that despite the Israeli propaganda that is echoed by the U.S. media and by U.S. politicians, public opinion has changed so much in the past year in favor of Palestinians, so much so that it's not only a majority that wants a ceasefire, it's also a majority that doesn't want to keep sending weapons to Israel. And that is what we have on our side. And so as we move forward, we have to redouble our efforts. I am so glad that Doctors Against Genocide is having this day in Congress as soon as the new Congress gets back, because guess what? AIPAC is always there to flood the halls of Congress, especially in a new Congress. And we have to visit the offices of every new Congress member, as well as the 19 members of Congress who are doctors, who should be forced to be champions of what we are calling for. And so I look forward to being with you in the halls of the Congress, on the streets, everywhere we can be and must be in the coming year, to be as resolute as the Palestinians are, who will never give up. So thank you for having me on with you. I look forward to being with you in active support for Palestine in the coming year.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Medea, for your bravery, for your being everywhere where it matters. And we look forward to working together with you. We invite all our members, healthcare workers for Palestine, Doctors Against Genocide, any medical professionals who want to join us on the Hill, please sign up. And we get strength in numbers, and the more we have of you, the better.